I'm Dale Smith for Loonie Politics, and the third and presumably final Conservative leadership debate takes place this week, minus two of the participants. Now, because Patrick Brown is now out of the race, the dynamics can shuffle a little bit, and what is important in a ranked ballot system is all of the down ballot support, second, third, fourth, and so on. And that has a very big role to play. Now, while Pierre Poilievre has basically decided he doesn't need to do this because he figures he's got the race sewn up, and Leslyn Lewis decided that because they didn't want to talk about her particular conspiracy theories, that she didn't feel like she needed to be there, it does give a chance for the other three, namely Jean Charest, Scott Aitchison, and Roman Baber, to make their case to be higher on the ranked ballots. And why we need to pay attention to this is because in the previous iterations where there's been a ranked ballot, there's typically been an upset. Presumed front runners have not made it on the first ballot. That was Maxime Bernier and Peter MacKay. And I can think of other ones in the previous Alberta leaderships, such as Jim Dinning versus Tim Morton and Ed Stelmach coming up the middle. And so these dynamics are still going to be very fluid. Pierre Poilievre's camp says that they sold more than half the memberships, and so therefore they've got it in the bag. That isn't always going to be the case because people are not going to vote. There was a very low voter turnout in the previous leadership race, as well as the fact that they are loudly proclaiming that they have this sewn up means that a lot of people are going to presume that the race is over. They really don't need to vote after all and won't do it, particularly because there's a fairly onerous process involved in the mail-in ballots with this race. As well, there is also the dynamic of people who may change their minds in terms of second or third choice after having, or even for first choice after having reviewed the candidates. And there's also the point distribution system in this model as well, where concentrated membership sales in Alberta and Saskatchewan aren't going to necessarily translate very well because of the 100 points for ridings in Quebec or Atlantic Canada who have smaller populations and who may not be as predisposed to Poilievre's particular ideas. Now, their camp has claimed that they've got 100 signatures from each of those ridings, so they're not going to be concerned. You know, that's may be the case, but people don't always vote that way in the long run, or they may not vote at all. So these dynamics are still in play. A ranked ballot can produce really interesting results, and I think it's interesting that two of the five have chosen to just take themselves out of this debate rather than try and make the case for themselves to be higher on the ballot than their fellow competitors. For Loonie Politics, I'm Dale Smith.